It's Monday, so we're back for another Superman comic a day. Today is day 15, Action Comics number 14. Man, reading Superman with these is going to make this very confusing very quickly. I think I've already said that. Superman Meets the Ultra-Humanite, which is a very inaccurate title as he already met the Ultra-Humanite in the last issue. Why did they go with that title? Very quickly, we get a newspaper title telling us that a subway collapsed. He becomes Superman, you know, red costume, shoots trained bees out of a gun. Wait a minute. Something about what I just said sounds very wrong. I'm sure it's fine. In the subway, he sees an investigator looking around the tracks. Two men come up on him and start beating the crap out of him. Superman kind of just continues to watch this. They leave him unconscious on the track, so the train will finish the job. This is when Superman gets involved and grabs him and takes him out. He lands on the roof to have a conversation with the inspector. Inspector Hughes is his name. Inspector Hughes believes that a company known as the Star Company, I'm not 100% certain why Siegel seems to be in love with naming things Star, the Daily Star, the Star Company. Eventually Green Arrow will be created, not by Jerry Siegel, and that will be in Star City. Of course, there ends up being Star Labs. At least half these stars are going to go away, though. He believes the Star Company is using cheap and improper materials. That's what's causing the subway collapses. In a weird moment, the department store they're landed on's security guard comes up there and tries to attack Superman for being in an area that you're not allowed. It's a weird scene because Superman just kind of grabs him and holds him to the side. In one panel, he's there, and in the other panel, he's not, and it felt like Superman had just thrown the department store security guard off the roof. I had to kind of read that section over again to make sure that the security guard was okay. He did not throw him off the roof. It was just not a very well told section by the art. We go to the Star Company where two thugs are talking to their boss. Here is like one of two occasions in this comic where it feels like Siegel was writing a comedy sketch instead of writing like this comic, which I have no issue with. It's not a consistent tone in the comic, and it just kind of comes out of nowhere and feels awkward compared to the rest of his writing. The two men tell their boss that they've taken care of Hughes. He says something like, "That's great news. Here, let me call before I pay you." Setting up for him to pick up the phone and go, "What? Hughes is alive? Well, I'm not paying you." It's not the funniest comedy sketch, but it's a setup and a payoff. Though they didn't get paid off. See, that's funny. Superman smashes his way in and picks up Mr. Lyons, that's the name of the boss, and holds him out the window. As this is a Jerry Siegel Superman story, it's only going to have two ways where he's going to solve this problem. And he goes with threatening to drop him, unless he signs a confession, which he agrees to. Before he can agree to it, the two men come up behind him, and we get to the one weakness we seem to actually know Superman seems to have in these comics. And that is being pushed from behind. Remember all the way back in the second Action Comic story where like three guys came up behind him and somehow pushed him off a ship? Well, it's apparently very easy to come up behind Superman and just push him off things. So Superman falls out the window with Mr. Lyons. He is able to land softly holding Lyons so neither one of them are hurt, but he's immediately hit by a cable car. I'm pretty sure we never see a cable car again in Metropolis, or at least if we do, it's a very inconsistent thing to have. It's about to derail, but he's able to catch it and put it back on. Because the comic needed some sort of action, and he hadn't really done anything in this issue so far. Going back up into the building, he makes Lyons sign the confession, but the two men are missing. Now we get the second sort of setup, payoff kind of comedy sketch here, where Superman immediately leaves the building and then wonders if he will ever be able to find the two guys. Literally after he ends that sentence, the two thugs come out of the door to their car, so they didn't even get out of the office in that time. So this was a terrible distraction. Superman follows their car, but as he's about to catch it, it turns invisible, which shouldn't be an issue for Superman due to his vision, but specifically due to his hearing. He should still be able to hear the car, and you would think a car driving on the road would still be making some sort of change to the road. It would like be moving rocks and dust. He should be able to follow this car. Arguably, we're halfway through the comic and the actual plot has been dealt with, which seems to be a theme with these actual supervillain comics for a while. where we tell the usual kind of plot for half of it, and then we reveal that there's a supervillain behind the whole thing. So these comics feel overly long because we've already kind of had the plot we were expecting. Like, we've gone through the rising action and a climax, but now we're going to have to go to another rising action and a climax, like 2 different stories. Superman is able to follow where the car went to an abandoned building nearby. Wow, this sounds a lot like the Ultra-Humanite's last story. He walks into the building only to fall through a trap door. Once again, this doesn't feel like something Superman should easily fall for. And falls into a weird machine that the Ultra-Humanite, yes, that Ultra-Humanite, returning as the first returning villain. First supervillain, first returning villain. This machine encases Superman in crystal, so he kind of comes out in a rectangle box, kind of like a casket. Think of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, like at the end there. And hey, this is at least trying something different than putting him in a damn saw. Unfortunately for the Ultra-Humanite, it does not take out Superman, who easily breaks out of the crystal as soon as it comes out of the machine. By the way, the Ultra-Humanite explains that he survived the plane crash because he jumped out of the plane with a parachute, which A, he can't really jump in his condition, and B, Superman was falling next to the plane the entire time. He should have been able to see him anywhere near that plane, and he landed next to it. The Ultra-Humanite can't walk, he can't get very far. Superman should have easily been able to find him, unless he can turn himself invisible, which is not something we know he can do yet. Another bald supervillain will end up doing that, much later. Honestly, he would have been better off trying to freeze Superman if the crystal didn't actually do anything to him other than to make him solid. The Ultra-Humanite uses another trapdoor to escape. Superman rips it open, but the Ultra-Humanite is gone, and he just kind of accepts that and catches the thugs. Apparently, Ultra-Humanite got into the invisible car and got away. Once again, Superman can't seem to follow invisible cars. And he takes the 2 thugs and the confession to Inspector Hughes, where they're going to be arrested. That's basically the end of that comic. It does feel like we're building up to something with the Ultra-Humanite, but that would be accepting that these comics have any sort of continuity at this point. And honestly, I'd probably be very disappointed believing that it's actually building up to something. Now, if it felt like it was building up to something, it probably would be building up to something, but not a comic in the 1940s. But I'll remain optimistic. I like the Ultra-Humanite. The Ultra-Humanite's actually trying things. I don't particularly like mobsters because Superman can handle the mobsters in seconds and they can't do anything to him. So that's it from Superman Meets the Ultra-Humanite, who we already met. We've gone over this. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to get notifications when a new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday. This Friday I will be doing a Batman comic though, as it is Bat Fridays here on Superman Comic A Day. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow.